Shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, before I get started, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that root well. Peace and salutations to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect and risking their lives and freedoms to do so. Definitely more so now than ever before. This is the brother Zion Amah from GMSTheTrip.cap, and this is going to be our lesson, all right, regarding the curses, all right, and just an example of seeing it in real time, right, concerning this guy Terrence Crawford, right, who is obviously, a Jake, not just because of his parents, but the talent, the skill set, all right. As he just won, his bout, his fight against Canelo Alvarez, which is also another Jake, all right, perceived to be from the tribe of Issachar, as he represents, Mexico or whatever, right? But and Terrence, representing the U.S., but obviously he's of the tribe, well, of the nation of Israel. According to his law, perceived to be, from the tribe of Judah. And just looking at his walk, he's been very, the boxing industry, the business, or they basically never gave him, his props, just in short, never really gave him his props, never gave him a fair shot, all right, through his career in certain fights, and this and that kind of put him, to the wayside. So, but nonetheless, he persevered through all that, and has become what I believe the Ford division, boxing champion, whatever. Going up, 2-3 weight classes, all right, to fight and beat, all right, Canelo convincingly, I might add, and so that's that. Now, his upbringing, which he kind of goes into in this interview, I'm not gonna play it, but you can just put this in YouTube, right? Before he became a millionaire, his mother wouldn't even hug him, right? Exactly. So, right, so before he became a millionaire, right? So his upbringing, growing up in the ghetto, as most Jakes do, in the ghetto, the projects, right? It's a hard upbringing, barely any food to eat, sharing clothes, right? Washing clothes in the bathtub type activity, go to school, free lunch program, etc. But basically dealing with his moms, though, just as I say, he didn't show him any love, of when he was growing up. His mom didn't show him no love. Her excuse was, to make him basically hard, to make him tough or whatever, right? And also, I might add that, or I should add that, his mom would pay all the kids in their neighborhood, I think she said $10 to whoop, to fight and whoop Terrence Crawford, right? But there was no one to be found because he beat basically every kid in his neighborhood, right? But his mom doing that really came from a place of like hatred and anger towards Terrence. Probably, I don't know because we haven't seen his father. Well, I haven't seen his father, but I'm presuming that he probably looks a lot like his father. So does mention that. He'll mention that, hey, that basically his talent, his skill set is God given. You know, he put in the work to harbor those skills, but ultimately it's from the Heavenly Father. So that's that. So I just want to give a few precepts to highlight how these are the curses that fell upon Jacob. You know, this is nothing new. This is very prevalent amongst our people. You know, to have a single parent household, and even if there is two parents in the household, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of strife most times. You know, it's just a lot of love not being showed because basically, shit, you know, going back to slavery, Jim Crow and Woody Lynch letters and all that, it was set up or indoctrinated, right, to not love one another, right? Which was a curse first, but it was executed by the so-called white people, right? To have that strife amongst our people, to where, you know, dark skin versus light skin, young versus old, man versus woman, so on and so forth. Right? So again, this is prevalent amongst our people because it's a curse amongst our people. Right? The Lord is going to soon turn that around. He takes down Babylon the Great, aka America. Right? All of that is going to be turned right side up. And what you're going to see in the kingdom of heaven is that everything that we've experienced, right, that's ill on this side, curses and all that, that's going to fall upon, right, our enemies, starting with Esau, Edom. Right, you can read that in I'll get it. That's Deuteronomy 30, in the point verse 7. It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, which is all the heathen nations, again, starting with the tabernacles of Edom. You can read that in showing you got new brothers or sisters too, right? They may not know, they're not aware of these things. So real quick, I'm about to bring out Psalms 83 because it gives a roll Canelo because Canelo, right, yeah, he's Mexican, but he's of that, he has that lighter or brighter, complexion where he can pass, right, for Edomite, looking at him, right? You could pass for Edomite. So due to that fact, you have a lot of Edomites that have actually sided with Canelo only because of that look. You see, they hate Mexicans, but because of that look, right, they side with Canelo because they be damn if they side with a Negro, because why they hate, especially Judah, because Judah is the head tribe. Why? Because our Lord, Yahweh comes out of that tribe, right? So yeah, you have that. Tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out between her feet, because you just recently had that. This MB, she had a baby and sold the baby, I think, for like $70K. You know what I'm saying? And she was happy to do it. Well, why? For the sake of that bag. You know what I'm saying? See, our women wasn't like that once upon a time. Like when you look at like the story of Jacob and Rachel. Because Rachel, for a period of time, she was barren. She couldn't have children. But that was a woman's place. They desired, hey, that's a curse to not have children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not able to produce children, right? It's like, it lessens the value, of you being a woman. You know what I'm saying? So now fast forward to today, women taking Plan Bs, they getting abortions left and right. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to have a hot girl summer. They want to live their best life. They want to have a career, right? And whatnot. Correct? They want to do good. You see? lot of that's due to due to the fact of the trauma being passed down from generation to generation, going back to slavery. Again, dealing with the Willie Lynch letters and so forth. But ultimately, the stress that it's a curse from Yahweh Shem Shai. Alright, so that's that. Let's jump over here. This is Lamentations 4 and 3, and it reads, even the sea monsters draw out the breast. Wow. Right? It said, even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones, right? Even an animal, a beastly creature, right, has enough, right, common sense and what's the word I'm looking for? Just shit, love, right? For in short, just love for their seed to where they'll nourish the child, right? And bring the child up. But what do we see amongst our people, right? Especially if it's a single. First of all, you're a single mother due to the fact most times, right? Because of the woman's attitude, right? That pushed, the father away, right? Right? You seeing women, leave children, unattended in cars, in homes. You know what I'm saying? For days on end at times, right? Leave a child in the car, right? The child is get froze to death if it's winter, or dies, due to heat stroke or whatever. Being in a hot car, right? It happens all the time. All right. Or the child is passed off, to the grandmother. If that's an option. This is all done for the sake of the woman, the actual mother, basically wanting to, have a hot girl summer. They want to be loose. They want to, which is ridiculous because it's like it's a vicious cycle, right? Open your legs for one man, had the baby, okay, boom. You don't want the child, you pass it off on the mother, all right? So you can go out and do it all over again. Like, what type of sense that makes? You know what I'm saying? But hey, this is what America breeds, right? It breeds chaos and confusion, right? All due to the fact that the so-called white man is ruling, so because he's in rulership, our women, they're not going to listen to us because we have no might, we don't have no power on this side. But when we do, all right, when the kingdom is heaven is set up, we get spiritual powers and rulership and authority, women going to be in line because that's what women are attracted to, power, influence. You see? Reading on, it says, the daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. It says, the tongue of the sucking child cleaves to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. So yeah, man, that's it's a sad thing, man, which is more proof we need a savior. Alright? We need a savior, period, point blank. Right? So that's why we call on Yahweh Shai to basically fix this mess. Alright? To fix this mess and to get us out of this condition. Put us back on top. Right? That's what the men of old, when Yahweh Shai, was on the scene. When he read Acts, the first chapter, it said, hey, when you this time restored the kingdom, right, to Israel, right? Because men in their right frame of mind, they want to rule, right? You want to control shit. You want to be calling the shots. You want that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get back to that, all right, soon enough. But that's really all I had. Just a few words, on that. It just starts a trip when you find this story out. Like, damn, like his mother, Terrence might, treating him cruel, but you be like, you know what? Hey, that shows that the scriptures don't miss. All right, Yahweh don't miss. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying.